It took a little bit longer than expected, but XRP is finally pumping to the upside. We've been talking about a move of a breakout for XRP probably for the last 2 weeks or so. So it's good to finally see this thing progressing to the upside. As you can see here on our chart, we've got a pretty decent move to the upside here. Over the last little while here, it's 28%. Today, we've moved up a decent 7.3%. And I don't think it shows too much room here for slowing down. I think we've got a little bit more progression to the upside before things finally start cooling off a little bit. So in this video, we're going to jump down into everything XRP's price, what's going on, and what we think is potentially going to happen next. As I get into the video, if you find it useful and informative, smash the like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new, subscribe, tapping the bell and selecting all the notifications so you never miss another video update. And check out Discord, linked in the description below. You won't regret it, in my opinion. It's the first place we go to notify you of everything that's going on in the crypto space. Let's jump right down into the XRP technical analysis. So we might as well start with this chart, but we'll take a look at a few others as well. But we'll start here. So there's a few things kind of to note. We had a nice correction to the downside here, and we're looking for the progression upwards. Okay, so we saw that we had the lower highs and the lower lows. These do have a tendency to break up. So we can see here there was a small, not as steep to the downside, but we had that break to the upside there. Then we saw this one. We did test down here on the low side. I was actually hoping to get a break earlier than that, and we saw this move. We got resistance just on that trend there around equilibrium, and then we finally broke it, which is great. So again, we can see that break from there. Now, the thing with this one, we have to be a little bit cautious on, is we are up in the seller's territory. This is where the bears are going to try to smack the price action down a little bit. Okay, that's kind of indicated within our red area here. We still have our weak low, basically an indication that we're in bullish structures. This is also noted on here. So change of character into a bullish state from bearish, break of structure. So we're still looking good for that. Nothing terribly too unusual with regards to that. That basically means that we're above equilibrium here. Weak high, likely to break upwards from there. But again, I don't think we've got that much in the tank for that right at this moment, but we'll see. We'll probably need to call off just a fraction, come back down, retest equilibrium. So was resistance, break past it, come back down, find it as support, break upwards again. So we're looking at the 50 EMA here to hopefully be that support level for us. We're above the 200 as well at the moment, so all looking pretty good there. So from our smart money concepts, what are we seeing? Well, we're seeing pretty decent levels of progression to the upside. So on this particular chart, we are on the daily time frame. Every candle is 1 day, and therefore, we can see pretty decent kind of moves to the upside. Now, as we kind of go down into the lower time frames here, specifically around that hourly, you can still see we've got some growth potential. Okay, now it's obviously just quickly loading this up. Obviously, I'm recording this about 2 hours ahead of time, so some of this stuff may change a little bit, but you can see there's a fair value gap right in here, right, and also this one. These two fair value gaps, along with these, this one down here, they may come back down. We may have to call off and grab that liquidity, or refill that area with liquidity, essentially before we progress on to the upside. So equilibrium being down here as well, 50 EMA currently being our support, as you can kind of see on the 1 hour chart, still having progression to the upside on our stochastic, showing us with strength and momentum as we look to break up a little bit higher. We can see though that the sellers on the daily chart are kind of suppressing the price action here just a little bit, big wick at the moment. So we'll be really trying to struggle to fight to take it much higher than we currently have already hit. So it looks like at the point of recording, we hit 52.5. That's going to be quite tough to break higher, but we'll see how that kind of goes. You can see that we're already overbought on the 1 day chart, the 8 hour chart, the 4 hour chart, but not yet on the 1 hour chart. Let's go back up into our daily time frame. So ultimately, looking at this, it's unlikely that on this particular attempt we're going to push past 54.65. I would expect us to kind of break down just a fraction. So smart money concepts shows us we've got some pretty decent progression to the upside. We're still bullish on XRP here, and it looks like we finally got that break to the upside. But like everything good, we have to kind of, not get too carried away. So yes, we broke above this area here, but now the opposite is true. Okay, so we were going down into essentially like lower highs and lower lows, and that's a bullish thing. We can kind of see that as a potential breakout to the upside. Now, of course, that opposite move is there, so we need to be a little bit cautious here, because we can, of course, look right in here and say, okay, it's great that we were, you know, in that kind of bullish movement, but we are now potentially looking at a bearish setup here. Now we can still push up higher, still looks good, but my expectations are that we're potentially going to have to break down here just a little, and then have another break upwards once again. So it's looking good. I'm not too concerned. I still think we have a little bit more price action to the upside to go, but profits should probably get taken around this range. I'm not a financial advisor. I can't give, you know, financial advice or anything, but if I were trading it, which I'm not, but if I were trading this, I would probably be looking at taking profits around here and looking for maybe buying back in for long positions around equilibrium. So for the record, that is going to be coming in down here between 46.01 and that high range at 47.22 cent. Okay, so that's where that one sits. Let's go ahead and actually just remove some of these lines from cluttering up our charts just a fraction here. In fact, I don't need that one on there either. So that's your smart money concepts, but let's take a look at it from an Elliott wave theory point of view, because this move to the downside here is looking pretty good, pretty progressive. It's very overlappy. It's corrective in the way that it's run. It means that we might be able to kind of start looking at this thing as a bigger macro structure, okay, as an A wave up, a B wave down, and a C wave to go up higher. Now, this is a long shot, but the way I would look at this would be that we'd have a 3-wave structure inside our C wave, and we'll progress upwards like that, okay? And therefore, we would break higher than 58.5 cent. But we'd have to obviously chew through all of those sell orders first, right? And we can kind of see that's where we're hitting the resistances right now. So a move down towards equilibrium, maybe the 200 EMA becomes support, then we break upwards, right? That kind of thing. Now, if this is to kind of play out with our thoughts on XRP's price action, then of course we can use the Fibonacci retracement tool to help us understand the probability of where it's likely to move. There's rules that are applied to ABC structures, and our C wave would be actually quite high. I'm not sure we'll push this, but if we do, fantastic. And I might want to trade that one if that is the case. So this one looks like we find ourselves between 80 and 93 cents. So close to that dollar, right? Close to that move to the dollar. It would mean that we'd have to break up significantly higher than we are right now. So our options here are going to be quite limited. So we can see that we don't really have a supportive structure here, or that's going to basically tell us that we have a 5-wave count going on. It's possible that if this could be some kind of expanding diagonal or leading diagonal of sorts, possibly, and then we break down to break up again, right? And that next move would have to be critical. So if we wanted to be really bullish on this and kind of get up towards that $1 range, then we're going to have to see probably a 5-wave count within this area, basically making the entire thing a 335 corrective pattern. So that would be the kind of the way you'd look at it. Alternatively, within this structure, we'd have to have some kind of W, X, Y, X, and Z, and that would be something that we'd be also looking for. It's possible, actually, that that is potentially in play here. So we'll be interested to kind of see the development on that. But for now, just so you kind of note these numbers, we're talking about 80 cent for that C-wave structure. I just don't think necessarily that's going to be where we top out. I'll be really focusing in on some of those resistances on this journey to the upside as well. As you can kind of see, we'd find resistance right up here as well, approximately around 69 cent, which is not a coincidence that that happens to fall in line. Let me actually go ahead and draw this line on the chart right here. Right here, you can see this falls in line with the 786 Fibonacci level, and this is also where we were closing above. We get the wicks below it, but we closed above this level in the past. So this would look like a real strong resistance line to me. So chances of pushing up higher than 69, yeah, I would be a little bit cautious around that number for sure, for certain. But 80 to 93 would be typically where you would expect that C wave to go. But for now, it's good to see that progression to the upside. I'll leave that target range up there for now, but I'll remove that to keep this chart nice and clean for now. So yeah, it's good to see the break to the upside. It's been a little bit of work in progress, but we can finally see that we have broken up from our lower lows and lower highs, and we're finding the upper resistance. So coming down towards equilibrium at around, as I said, 47 to 46 cent could be a pretty interesting location. Now, from our weekly time frame, we got some progression to the upside before we come overbought again. We are, of course, now testing back up in that supply range. So this is an area that we've tested twice already. We'd have to obviously break through this. Main resistance really coming in at 60-cent flat. So we're going to have to see how that kind of plays out, whether or not we're going to be able to kind of push through the supply range. This is basically where the active bears are trying to drag the price action of XRP down. So we're going to have to fight that one as much as we can if we want to be bullish on the price action here of XRP. Now, obviously, this is all technical stuff that's based on the current sentiment of the market as it stands today. And obviously, this is a fast-paced market, specifically when you've got the SEC suing Ripple, and well, we're due to see some pretty interesting things in June. So this could be all front-running those developments, trying to get in as much as you possibly can ahead of those recent developments within the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. And of course, you know, usually it's buy the rumor, sell the news. So be a little bit cautious with that. Nonetheless, I think when we do get clarity, as in we get closure on that case and we get clarity for XRP, I'm expecting a very significant move to the upside on the XRP price action. So I do think there's going to be, it's better to be in XRP than not in XRP. But again, like I said earlier, I'm not a financial advisor. I can't give you financial advice. All I can do is give you my thoughts and opinions on the data and the charts as I personally see it. And I would be more comfortable in XRP position than not in an XRP position, which is why I do hold XRP as a part of my main portfolio. So ultimately, I'm pretty encouraged by the things I'm seeing around the lawsuit. I'm very, very encouraged by what I'm seeing inside the price action from a technical standpoint, although we should acknowledge that, you know, if the can does get kicked down the road a little bit longer, then we may find ourselves, unfortunately, having to have another correction for XRP to the downside. Okay, so there's a lot of things to kind of consider here. We're heavily overbought on the daily 8-hour, 4-hour charts. We're heading to overbought on the weekly chart. And these things are showing us that there's an exhaustion of buyers going on. Okay, so we want to be a little bit aware that momentum is potentially has the ability to kind of run out and we could see reversal. So if they do decide that they want to kind of delay making decisions and kick the can down the road a little bit, then that may actually have a pretty significant negative impact on the price action of XRP. But you know, we can cross that when that time does come, if it does come, of course. I'm going to leave this video right there. If you found it useful, informative, smash the like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe? And don't forget to join us down in Discord. You won't regret it. Linked in the description below. Until the next one though, guys, have a fantastic day.
We are not financial advisors. None of what we have communicated verbally or in writing here should be considered as financial advice. It is not. Do your own research before investing in any digital asset or affiliate offers, and understand that investing in any crypto is risky. If you do, you need to be prepared to lose your entire investment. This video is for information and entertainment purposes only. All our videos are strictly personal opinions. Please make sure you do your own research and never take our opinions for financial guidance. There are multiple strategies, and not all strategies fit all people. Our videos are not financial advice.